Hey, it's Shabes, and welcome to another edition of AniTube Digest. We're going with the best, not so best, anime YouTube videos to come out this week from the 11th of December to the 18th of December. I was gonna sit, and then I've been sitting all day. I can't. I have to get up. First some videos I thought were decent. Sure. And I would say decent. I mean, they're all a lot of them are pretty good. I just mean this first one. I don't want to give it. I don't want to give it a not good. Even I don't know. Maybe it technically is of the way I talk about it. I don't know. But this BennettTheSage is back with Trinity Blood, cynical plagiarism at its worst. He does reference the H-Bomber guy video a bit, and I don't want to go too hard because the dude's had it rough the past few months. I appreciated the transparency a lot at the beginning and talking about that of his, some family problems and, or not really problems so much as it is, really rough situations. And his whole thing with his hard drive or computer and, as well as like losing all his luggage. It was just one thing after another. And I think that was smart to have at the beginning of this video, not just to explain the absence of, why he hasn't been around, but also just to, I think, put his viewers in the right mindset of like where he's coming from. It's like, I need to tear something up. I need to really dig into something. And he decides to dig into Trinity Blood, which is from 2005. And it's like a 12, how long was it? I forget. It's 24 episodes. So he doesn't go the route of summarizing all of it, which was very welcome. Of course, I don't always think that his describing what a show is, I never really find it to be that compelling. I don't know, it just feels like he's reading off of a wiki or something. Not to accuse him of plagiarism or anything like that. I don't usually. I mean, I covered one of James Somerton's videos in Digest and didn't obviously catch him, reading off the wiki in that regard. But it did feel it. The summaries are kind of whatever. I don't know. But that's neither here nor there, I guess. I have not seen Trinity Blood, so I barely even knew it existed, really. And, I won't even go after him that much for, I guess. I keep saying I won't go after him and then give a flaw of the video, and it's like, well, you're saying it. No. I guess I'm putting it in decent only because I guess I was kind of in an okay mindset to be like, I wasn't upset by the video. I think especially because of his framing at the beginning of what he's been going through and just communicating your thoughts and gritting down, realizing it's I have to be entertaining at the time like this, and it does make you think. It does give you pause. And it's funny, another video later in this digest has a similar quandary, and it gets me thinking more of just I mean, it's tough with making vids, and it's I wouldn't. That's kind of one of the reasons why I couldn't bear to do this as an actual job, as an actual profession, because if I'm not up for it, doesn't matter. You still got to do it, I like that there's things that it's I can just kind of do the work. I don't know. I like my job. I like my job a lot. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, he does kind of rip it off as a Trigun ripoff, but also Hellsing and JoJo's, which was a real stretch actually, because there's a character, I guess I didn't even know how significant they were or anything. He just shows the clip, and they have a scar of a star on their back, and it looks like a big star. And I was like, what are you referencing, One Piece or something? But no, he's referencing JoJo with the birthmark. I guess it's but again, it felt very much like the encyclopedia, right? That kind of criticism from back then where people were like, oh, that's just like this, just because Trinity Blood has a scene of this character that's kind of has a similar characterization to Vash or whatever, has the scene of him playing with kids or whatever, and he just matches the two back and forth, people are like, oh geez, it's like, how consequential is this one scene in this 24 episode anime, you know? And also just like, he was obviously bringing up the author in these comparisons type of thing, but then constantly using the anime as an example, and that just gives me a bit of dissonance. So it was like, was there any changes? Did you look at the adaptation process? Maybe they twist the story to make it more like Trigun? Did you look up any interviews? Like, Bennett's done this before, this kind of research for other series, but again, I get it. It's just looking to tear it apart. All right. Yeah, but it was just kind of yeah. But I will give a positive here, to just be like, no, it is decent. It's absolutely not my thing. No, it's really weird. Like, I did quit watching a video, like something minute, and I tweeted about like, hey, don't, like, it was just like a big turn off for me, and I wasn't really vibing with the video either. I think I've watched enough Bennett videos and I've enjoyed a couple of them that I can watch his whole thing. I can watch the whole vid, and he pulls me along, even though it like a lot of the on its face be like, that's really a criticism, or it's not as big of a deal, I guess. I guess I don't know what you call this. Stockholm syndrome? I don't think it's that. I don't really know the definition for that. I don't know why I said that. It's some kind of amnesia where just like, I can handle it. I can watch his videos for some reason. I have a tolerance. Maybe that's it. It's a tolerance. No, but I think we'll say the thing I liked the most about this, besides the beginning of the transparency, and I think that reflecting in the rest of the video, was the ending where it made him realize the value in Trigun, where he was just like, oh, this thing in Trinity Blood that it does poorly, maybe because it did it more over, like they did the Christians, the religious symbolism of Cain and Abel a lot more stark, and he's like, no, this really reminds me of Trigun. But then he's like, wait a minute, I didn't even recognize the parallels in Trigun of Cain and Abel in that story. I didn't even realize that. Wow, maybe I should go back and reappraise it. I think I should do better than my previous review. I love that bit of self-reflection. I'm a big fan of that, especially for someone who's, his career as long as Bennett's. You really don't need that kind of, it's not as common to see that sort of growth and reflection of someone who's kind of been here forever and has the, doesn't have to, has the audience, right? Anyway, I just appreciate that. I might actually check out the Nutcracker Fantasy video that he's putting out next. I'll be interested to see what he thinks of that. And it's also just like a slightly different, animation style, I guess. And then see what his approach to that is. I'd be interested. Yeah. I thought this was all right. I finished it. Better to say that than other videos I tried. Pyramidino, I didn't realize this was like an essay type thing. Let Bright Noah grill. Because I see how short the time is, and then the thumbnail and everything. What gave me the most vibes was Little Joel. So Big Joel, YouTuber, does the video essays, but then Little Joel, he just kind of gives these little asides, and sometimes he's done a little more elaborate stuff. But he's been able to have this sort of dynamic where he can kind of put his effort into different sized projects, and not all of it needs to go on the Big Joel channel, basically. I like that approach, and that kind of reminded me of this. This kind of reminded me of that, is what I should say. But yeah, this was like talking about Bright Noah in the Hathaway novels, and it was just like a casual observation. You know what else it reminded me of is Zen Huxtable's videos, where he's just like, it feels like he just turned on a camera. Is like, I got a really cool, interesting thing I wanted to show you guys. I was just thinking about it. This is really interesting. Whatever. It sounded unscripted, but you come off pretty good unscripted, all things considered. I think it's pretty nice. Yeah. It's a simple, nothing, whatever video, but it's different for you, I think. I like that. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I just wanted to shout that out. Kineko Video found a pilot film of Alice in Wonderland that has no credits. So we don't know where this is from. They don't know what year it's from, who made it. Very interesting. That was kind of a thing of note. The short itself really most reminded me of Manga Sekai Mukashi Banashi. And obviously they did their own version of Alice in Wonderland, so it's definitely not from them. But it kind of it felt like something that Dax had made. You know what else it reminded me of was Anderson Monogatari, which I had just subscribed to this channel. It was Anderson Monogatari from 1972 was one of the titles that I found in the encyclopedia that I was interested in. I forgot the particulars, and I had found it like it's being uploaded as we speak on YouTube, raw, I believe. I don't think they're really translating it or anything. But yeah, like really interesting, and it kind of has a similar style to that, where it's not very anime-like, but definitely has the sensibility and everything, and yeah, but really interesting, and not a full. It was a pilot film, but it doesn't like. Yeah, it ends pretty abruptly. It actually very abruptly, interestingly enough. There's no dialogue except for the very end, for whatever reason. I think that they were explaining the reason or whatever, but like there are sound effects and music and everything. There's just no dialogue. And yeah, like there's little bits here and there, of course. I definitely think this was, well, it has to be, right? I mean, like post Disney's interpretation, because Disney's movie was in the 50s, I believe. So this is definitely like after that. I don't think anime is advanced this far. That'd be crazy. It'd be like, wait, what? Nah, but yeah, people were suspecting that it's Mushi, probably, and it's a likelihood because, and I like what AniTube was talking about, because obviously he's made the whole Mushi project. It would make some semblance of sense because they were kind of going belly up, and they have a number of these sorts of pilots. They produced these pilots all the time. You could watch the one for Dororo, and that was in color. I believe there was one for Astro Boy. I could be wrong, but there's various things like that they would make a pilot initially and then go commence forward with a full series, which, you know. So this is definitely, and Ashino Joe had 2 pilot films as well. So this is it's not completely out of the question that Mushi would make something like this, and people were also being like, this is kind of in the vein of like New Moomin as well, which is one of the series they made, kind of in that vein almost. Yeah, very fascinating bit of anime history. I wonder what'll happen to it. Pico the Spicy Warlord putting out The Miseducation of Harley Suzumiya. Big near hour-long video on good old Haruhi, very mumuch in his wheelhouse. Is like, yes, of course he's going to talk about this. It felt right. Although I will say that kind of the weird tension I had in this video, that it didn't really ring quite right for me, was that you were very insistent on, I'm not one of those fans. I'm not subscribed to Haruhiism. You know, I'm not going to put it on a pedestal or nothing. And then he kind of still does. You know, it did, like, of all the 5 movies that's made me cry in my life, Disappearance is on my index finger, very clearly has read the novels. Like, dude, if you've read the novels, you're a pretty significant Haruhi fan. Like, I'm sorry. And it also was just kind of coming across in just the editing. I know it's for the video or whatever, but just the amount of images that you're able to pack into that, and it's all traditional of your style and the amount of effort you put in. I did like towards the end that you connected it to how you made movies, and that's like one of your favorite episodes. But you know, I don't want to be a wet blanket or anything, but when I watched this video, you know, I've been super impressed with your other videos as well, with just the community perspective and general overview and the way you talk about it and in the detail and just the humor and everything, the sheer amount of editing prowess you put in. All of that is there in this video, but it's just like, yeah, of course. Yeah, you know, it's like, this is when I saw you upload this video, and it's that long and everything, I'm like, I bet it just goes through the thing, and then it goes to the community. Everything that it was predictable. I'm sorry. I am describing the term predictable. But that, I need to stress. I know this doesn't help with this doesn't alleviate it, but like, and I don't say that as like a damning. I'm just kind of explaining why I'm not super jazzed about or whatever. I just was left kind of muted because I was like, yep, that's about what I was expecting. You know, there are parts that I like, of course, and I enjoyed the video, but it was just kind of like, yeah, all right, yeah. It didn't. Even the Endless 8 thing, the way you edit that, was like, yeah, Kexi did that. What's up with Kexi? I wonder. I don't know if I've seen a video from them in a while. Anyway, I'm like, yeah, Kexi did that. It's, even at the beginning where you're like, everyone's talked about this series. What could I add? And then you kind of prove your point. I don't know. I was like, this is Elements of Red Bard's videos. This has other things. Well, it's like, this made sense for you to make, I think, with just in your wheelhouse and like your style. Like, this just fits in your ethos. Like, oh yeah, you go Tabata video, a Hidamari sketch video, this video. Yeah, totally. I just want to be honest with you about it. I enjoyed it, but it is just an overview, and with your humor and good editing and that community perception and everything. Yep, it's all there. It's a good video. I liked it. In the last minute, SailorGuardianHope put out the cutest fairy anime, Time Forgot. Little Snow Fairy Sugar. Cute. I do love watching her videos because the subject matter is a reflection of the things that the way she talks about these things, and oh my gosh, the GIFs and images she uses are so funny and precious and make my day. Really, they do. Though there's things in this one that was sort of like, it's starting with, wasn't as like airtight for me as like I loved it, no notes type of deal. It's a small thing. It's not really a big deal, but like, you see all the anime logo in the corner. Like, I know I think you said that this was licensed by Sentai Filmworks, and then it's just isn't all the anime like you got that from like an illegal site? And like, don't get me wrong, I ripped so much of my footage from Kiss Anime when I was making my Doremi video and my That's why my Doremi video, a lot of it is like hard subbed. and yours is as well, I believe. It is just what it is. But hide the logo at least. Come on. Come on. Not a huge deal, obviously, I guess. And you know what I was noticing is just like you showed one of your TikToks, and there's a clip of you flipping through the manga as well, and you have a great setup. I'm just like, I'm interested in like why you don't show your face in your videos here, and you resort to the kind of the PNG tuber when you show yourself in other platforms. Like, you have an Instagram, you recommend it in the video, like, here's my other platforms I go to, things like that. I don't know. It's like a strange, maybe it's just what you're used to, and maybe you did that in previous videos and your audience didn't receive it well or something. I don't know, but I think that would be even better, because I've said this before, where like in person, face contact just seems better to communicate an idea. It just, in my experience, when watching a video, I prefer seeing people in person talking about it. And I'm okay with people not having that preference if they're not especially adept at talking on camera in a scripted format. God, do I know that? I am not equipped to do that. I tried for my encyclopedia video and I did not succeed, so I had to resort to other methods. And other, it might be a matter of technology too. Maybe it's just your phone or whatever. And then it's like, okay. But I was just, it was like, huh. I don't know. I felt like those were the weaker parts of the video. It's just like, when, I know you have the things cut, you don't want it to be all footage all the time, but then it was just like, huh. It was just realizing that you are willing to do that elsewhere, and it's not a big deal really. The PNG tuber is fine. It's just makes me think I guess. Anyway, it was a great video. I enjoyed it. It was good. Okay, I want to thought were the best videos of the week. Yay! Yay! Yeah. But this first one is a shout out to Biz Pirates. Put a new episode. Me and Jack finally reunite to talk about the One Piece live action that dropped several months ago. And various other topics. I always love talking to Jack. And there isn't as much like zany antics I do with the editing in this one, but I still think it's good. Tune in soon, perhaps. I shouldn't tease it, I guess. But yeah, it won't be another 4 months. Let's just say that. And speaking of One Piece, a Merphy Napier video. Here's how Egghead will end. You know, I have this really weird. It's sort of an antagonistic relationship to theory, but it's a little bit of a hypocrite because it's like, wow, this is really fun. I can't deny poo-pooing the practice, but then indulging in it myself. It's I can't resist. And I will say a lot of the really granular detail that you're describing of some things about Egghead ending the way that you're thinking, it does reveal the one trepidation I have with theory craft. And again, I'm not one to talk because I do it too, but I get what I do different. No. But what makes me think when I'm watching your video about it, when it's so granular as like the specific things that Kuma will do when he gets there, etc. My concern always with theory crafting is getting disappointed when it doesn't go your way. Because you think about it and you get attached to it. And we've seen this happen, right? With certain members not joining the crew, with certain characters not fighting or defeating other characters. It just, it just creates a heap of disappointment, as I've seen. And I think there's people that can handle it healthy and well. They're like, I don't. I let out a cook, and I'm like, I could be wrong. And I like that you are constantly prefacing just like, this is crazy talk, and just like very conspiratorial almost. It's still in an articulate way. I was able to follow a lot with what you said, and it really. And the other thing about that I worry about theory crafting, especially in like video format. And again, I'm not one to talk because I've been giving my own sorts of theories and ideas like that in my own podcast. Sharing it and getting people convinced, and it's like, wow, that's a great idea. I really want that to happen, and spreading that, and for them to be disappointed and it not happening in that particular way, it. And I'm not one that's not a huge problem or a big deal or anything. It's a skill issue. Like don't worry about other people's disappointment. I get I've mentioned it last weeks ago when I was talking about Mark's video. It's like at the end of the day, I really want people to enjoy things, and it's like seeing your favorite sports team lose. They lost the game. I didn't play the game, but I still feel bad. I wanted them to win. And I don't know if I've ever really if you've heard me talk about this, but like I see enjoying media as winning and losing. I am a fan of Naruto, of One Piece. I won because I get to enjoy this great story. You lose when it's like, I lose out on not being as big of an Utena fan as these other people because I came in with the wrong expectations with the TV show, and oh man, people have their own individual journeys and experiences with it. So as long as they're being transparent about what their thoughts are, and they just be like, no, it's bad, right? Seeing the theory crafting, I just worried like, oh, don't lose. You're taking a risk here because I don't want you to be disappointed. And it's like, but I still like. I don't think it'll at this point with being as so much of a One Piece fan as you are, right? No amount of this sort of thing is gonna deter it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's right. And that's just me being a worrywart for no reason. That's me. And that goes for like any person that it's like, I don't know, getting themselves in a particular environment that gets them to not enjoy something. Even if someone, I know someone that is not enjoying One Piece as much as they used to because of certain really big plot points that they do not like. And it's like, boy, that is unfortunate. You know, that's kind of my reaction to it. Anyway, big thought about that. The actual theory. Let's talk about it. I'm sorry. Whatever one I can recall. I mean, it's 30 minutes of just straight what ifs. You know, so it's a lot of that. And then none of it's like has actually happened. So it's hard for me to. Oh yeah, that thing. I guess. I guess the one that really stuck out to me was the connection with Fishman, Lunarians, and Buccaneers. Very, very interesting. Because there is that connection with the three weapons. I don't know if you necessarily... I'm sorry if it bleeds into something that I'm thinking of or reminds me of what you said. It all got mixed up in my head. But with the bringing the three of them up as the ones that really have that connection to the Void Sentry kind of makes sense with the three weapons that obviously Shirahoshi is connected with. She is one of the three weapons connected to the Fishmen. That's why they're persecuted. The Lunarians being nearly wiped out from Mary Joa probably have the connection to the sky type of weapon, connected to the sky or whatever. And then the third weapon being more Earth-centric, Buccaneers. I don't necessarily know. I of course, Kuma's coming from Sorbet Kingdom, an island, and, you know, at least the land or whatever. But, you know, where does all this come? Why is it all islands? Why is the world like this? It's so interesting. It's so strange. Yeah, but like connecting those three, and then there's the three persecuted races, and with Nika, and then the, three weapons and stuff like that. I don't 100% remember what that has to do with the end of Egghead specifically. I think there was a lot of it, and it was connecting to your other whole literary connection to Dante's Inferno and Divine Comedy. Crazy. I haven't checked that video out, but I like that you were able to kind of add and expand upon it and tap into that. It's a good YouTuberism, good move there, to go check that other video out, but let's expand upon it. Yeah, that was kind of the biggest thing that snuck out to me. And then obviously, I do agree that that thing I really liked was that every time this was not from your head, that is something you heard, you credited the person you heard it from. It was from your Discord or from your live stream or reading or whatever, and this person said it, and it's and you're like, bro, it's not my idea, it was this person's idea that I got it from. That was really great, and at least something to help with, claiming it all as, not to be like plagiarism, but that it's a big thing on YouTube now. But yeah, I'd like to point a lot. But the thing that one of your patrons or members, something, whoever this person was, mentioning that the idea that Kuma would be extracting his own pain and putting that into Saturn as a way to defeat him or at least severely weaken him. Great idea. I do agree. I think that's a pretty smart. I was really just thinking another Kuma shock, the same way he did Thriller Bark. But I mean, if Thriller Bark, if that's all it did, it's like, if that's it, there's no way that sort of thing is gonna take out a Gorosei. So it does have to be something very specific. And it also, I agree, ties perfectly thematically with all that stuff. I appreciated a lot of the rereading and stuff and gathering a lot of the various bits of information we've gathered about the Void Sentry and robots, this theme of having your own will. My thought about Kuma specifically was that it wasn't so that once he sees his daughter, all the memories come flushing back or something like that. He regains his personality just like that. He still has autonomy. Why else is he going to Egghead right now? I think what you're saying about connecting it to Vega Force 1 at the very beginning, and these other and York and all these other robots, if somehow just kind of moving on their own despite being robots, despite having this other whatever, fits perfectly with Kuma. I think that was a great connection. I was thinking that I thought it was his Buccaneer thing. I thought it had something to do with him being a Buccaneer, that allowed him to kind of override this programming somehow. Because it's who are the Buccaneers really? I'm not saying they need to have a particular distinctive feature to them or something like that. I actually discount, the kind of dissuade from that. They're not just a big dude or something, because we have the giants. We have plenty of big dudes in One Piece that are not necessarily Buccaneers, right? I think it's specifically what they know about Nika, which is what you're talking about. I think that was a very astute observation. Again, I'm sorry if I was like, I didn't say that, because I keep mixing my own thoughts about One Piece with yours, and I apologize if that was the case. Anyway, I really enjoyed the video. It was finally a theory video and a One Piece, like, I get kind of like seized up about One Piece videos, I guess, because like, I don't know, I'm just really connected and attached to it, and I really want them to be done well. I guess my standards maybe got really high up or whatever. So I have a kind of a tolerance, or like, this is like, you have to be good, especially for how many people talk about One Piece, right? You got options, so it's not like, you know. But I've been really enjoying your One Piece stuff a lot. Yes, I liked this. It was finally a theory video I could like not have an aneurysm over. Hey, totally not Mark finished Yu Yu Hakusho for the first time. Chapter Black and Three Kings. Good idea to have them combined, because yeah, you don't really want to isolate the one video. Even though I didn't look at the proportions, I think you talked about Chapter Black for like the majority. It wasn't really half and half or anything. Not that it is, because the Three Kings is like, what, 2 volumes or something? I'm putting it in best, you know, not out of like, you know, you know, but I guess it was just really like the things that I was talking about in the last time I talked about with this Ippo video. All those issues, I think that all got much more clearer and better figured out in this one, I think, because there's a lot more manga, and I saw editor mention that, like, because of the drastic differences in the anime, that they have to show more of the manga. I'm like, yes, very good idea. And I was thinking more, I'm observing, especially as I was watching this, because you were again reiterating this point that you have to keep making, and I'm sure you're sick of it, and I appreciate that you explained it to me as well, took the time to explain it to me as well, that it's not the anime you're covering, it's the manga. But I was thinking about the reason people think that isn't just because you're showing bits of the anime in the video itself, which again in this case I thought you balanced it perfectly. I thought that the amount of manga you were showing was excellent, and the anime was pretty much being used as supplementary material to further visuals, basically. When it's like, all right, I've already shown this panel, I don't want to re-show this panel, I want to explain this to fill out the point, because, you know, Mark talks for about a chapter or a certain moment for a certain amount of time, and you don't want to linger on a moment for too long or whatever. So showing the anime as supplementary and auxiliary, is that the word for it? That kind of footage? I think that's a great use for it. But I was thinking about why people still really belabor this. It's because I think we've been trained the past few years with a lot of these people on YouTube making these big retrospectives. When you market a video like this the way that you do, I imagine a lot of people are just looking for the anime, or you know, because they want to be validated in their opinions. Look, that's kind of, and I know that's not what you're out to make. That's not what I want you to make. Absolutely, I hate that. I actively avoid videos that are very clearly just trying to pander to an audience, even if it's like, you know, it's like, no, but that is my opinion. But like giving the same argument that everyone on Twitter gives and just like making that the video. Like, what the fuck is the point? Like, it's just so, oh, I hate it. I avoid those videos. I really do. And that's why I keep trying your video, you know, as much as I disagree with certain approaches, whatever, is because I know it's coming from you. That's all I care about, really. Because that's what you can bring uniquely, right? I thought the stuff that's pointed out to me, where was it going? I'm sorry. It wasn't just that like people are looking for that. It was also like the people on YouTube, they're making a full experience. They're looking, it's like, you're going to this video, people are falsely, I think, going into this video expecting that you're talking about the anime and the manga, or the anime and not the manga. It's kind of a unfortunate bias where if people talk just about the anime and not the manga, people are okay with that. But if you talk about the manga and not the anime, depending on the anime, depending on the series, then people will be like, what the hell? Because Yu Yu Hakusho's anime is beloved. One Piece's anime is not beloved, apparently. So every time... So One Piece YouTubers just don't have that problem, apparently. I'm wondering if you probably still did. It's One Piece, regardless. But I don't think that many One Piece YouTubers run into this problem, because the watchers, who are usually One Piece fans, assume that they're talking about the manga, and because the anime is crap. Because of course everyone knows it's crap. But not so much the case with Yu Yu Hakusho. Not so much maybe the case with some other series that you've talked about, right? I think maybe that's where it's coming from. And it's an unfortunate bias. It's a shitty bias. And I really like their perspective. I've thought that before, when I was talking about your Ippo video. I was like, more people should be talking about the Ippo manga specifically. Everyone talks about the anime. It's kind of boring, right? It was just the visual approach to it and the clarity of it and other things. At various points. This one, it just like, I was able to like go into it being like, I know the kind of the way Mark's making this and everything like that, and just like, okay, so what does he say and how does it presented? I said the way it's presented is fantastic. There's really good balance of manga and anime. I want to highlight a moment in this video that reminded me of a critique I had in the Ippo video, where he singles out the moment when you first see Sensui, and the guy points him out, and Sensui shoots him like immediately. Editor shows the anime first as a way to introduce it, similar to the Ippo thing, but then the way that was actually used as a teaser to be like a preface for what Mark's about to talk about, that particular scene. And so that way the reveal of this panel with Sensui's face and what he's talking about ends up being kind of revealed through Mark's analysis and not like being repeated. It's basically the anime again uses auxiliary or supplementary footage to kind of use to support the actual really like the cool thing that Mark wants to talk about, which is the manga, this particular panel, this moment in this medium in particular. That's great. That was a really great way to architect or to structure that basically visually. I also really liked Mark's detour of sorts into this moment of like why the antagonists became evil through this black tape that showed them all the evils of humanity and everything like that. And that diatribe of sorts, I know it was hard to show visuals for, but I think that I think I did a good job there. But I thought that was really vital and necessary and an additive thing for you to do, for you to include. Because again, it's like what you're making is stuff that a lot of people have made before, Yu Yu Hakusho videos, etc. And this is a fresh, unique, specific point. It actually reminded me a lot of Bonsai Pop, who themselves have also made pretty big Yu Yu Hakusho videos, where you got kind of real for a second. You got kind of like today, modern world, like with the world we're living in type of real. And I really liked that. And I would love even more of that would be cool, But yeah, I really appreciated that moment. And then, yeah, the handling of the last few chapters in that last arc. Yeah, that one, like, it's because that's been again, you're thankfully coming from a position of like people have done this before, and it's not out of predictable cliche mood. It's not like out of that. It's more out of like, you're not just being a hater. You're encountering the same exact things that other people are, and what are you taking away from that? And the thing you take away as a reappraisal of Hunter x Hunter, and your warming of your feelings to Chimera Ant arc, and even as a personal reflection for your current situation, which doing what you did, responding to my thing. I don't know if it was around that time that you were going through that. I'm like, it makes like wow. Anyway, yeah, like the reflection of like having to do this job while having those circumstances, and then kind of connecting to Togashi in that way was really lovely. Again, it was something that you can personally bring and deliver, which is something I always really like seeing with any YouTuber. Yeah, so that I think that went really, really well. That one was a good one. That was a good. And I'm sorry I didn't check out the previous two. As a Yu Yu Hakusho mood, but I was in a Yu Yu Hakusho mood because the live action just came out, and I guess you're gonna review that next. Okay. All right, sure. I mean, it is 5 episodes. That is it's another Yu Yu Hakusho thing. It's a recent thing. Can you see as a fan of the anime, it's like, oh, so you're not going to talk about the anime, but you are going to talk about this live action show. All right, okay. But to be fair, I really enjoyed the live action show, so I hope you enjoy it. And it makes sense. It's 5 episodes, hour-long 5 episodes. It's much, much, much shorter than the anime. I completely understand that. And I was even seeing some interactions with AJ and editor and some other people were talking about like, even if you were to talk about the anime, you would probably have you would still have a disconnect with some fans regarding whether you do dub or sub, which is a whole other conversation. I get it. I understand that. That's fair to avoid that completely. So. With this particular instance, all right, yeah, I get it. Anyway, yeah, just love talking about your stuff again, and hope you're doing better. Hope you have a very good holiday and New Year's to everybody at Digest. By the way, everyone I've been covering. By the way, I'm sorry, specifically Mark. But anyway, yeah, I really liked the video. It came out really well. And I'd say my favorite video this week that I just was like, this is so comfy and good, was that Music in Anime, putting out an Evangelion Volume 1 vinyl review of sorts. And I like how thorough he is, where he's reviewing multiple releases of the same vinyl from different different outlets and everything, comparing them, being brutally honest with like his own versions, like, oh, I got this like packaging thing over here, or whatever. And then also going track by track, which was probably my favorite because, you know, you're really directly engaging with the material. I liked his descriptions of everything. The Hedgehog Dilemma little skit that he does where he's like, reminds me of like this Spanish kind of flair and everything. And he speaks very romantically in Spanish over Hedgehog's Dilemma. It's just like really fun. I really enjoyed that. I also think the transparency note that you put, like you the like editor note and everything, and you do talk about is like it actually played really, really well, but you'll see later in the video that in re-recording I knocked something over and I get really distraught or whatever, and it was kind of foreshadowing that, and then it happens. He's like, don't worry, it was fine. But I actually was like, I had like clicked on it again just for some to do something else, and I realized that the start of the video is turning the camera on and knocking something over. It was a different thing, but it ended up or maybe it was the same thing, I don't know, but I was like, oh, that's even foreshadowing to that other moment. I just thought it was funny. No, yeah, just I really liked the thoroughness, and again, this subject matter, I think it's really only like vinyl, like people who are into the like music collecting scene that are. He referenced another YouTuber that had gotten a similar package, and she had gotten 2 discs in one or whatever. And I also like the community shout out, right? Or just even just like shouting out a mutual in this space or whatever. I assume it's mutual. I don't know. But yeah, there are very few people I know of that at least are covering this material. So this is always very fascinating. Oh, another thing I really, really liked. So obviously the big thing with Eva these days, in terms of its music, is the lack of "Fly Me to the Moon." And I really like that he doesn't really bemoan that or goes too much into the weeds of that. If anything, he recommends the artist, being like, hey, you should just support the artist. She's still putting out stuff. She put out an album this year. Hey, check it out. You know, that was such a great, I don't know if it was intention, but it was a way to divert that drama and that like belly aching. Is like nothing we can do about that, man. I'm sorry. This is what Kara wants to do. It's a stupid situation. We don't have it. We don't have 5 minutes on the thing. I like that it wasn't really so much belly aching and now he didn't really focus on that, but then he really highlights the artist in particular, and then it's like, hey, go check out her other stuff. She's still making music. Hey guys, I'm like, that's wonderful. I really liked this video. Enjoyed it a heck of a lot. And this will do for installment tonight. I'm just thank you very much for watching. You guys are great. You have a great week. Yo, peace.